All right, before we get started, I want to shout out the third graders at Pioneer Elementary in Shelton in the class of Mrs. Toy, Miss Hain, Miss Michael, and Mrs. Marth. Mrs. Marth happens to be my sister, but I wanted to shout them out. They're awesome kids. They got a chance to hear me talk. They got the opportunity. I got the opportunity to talk to them because they were awesome, and it was a lot of fun and it was really cool. And a bunch of them were really excited when I told them I have a YouTube channel, and they said they've subscribed, and I'm excited to see the numbers jump up about a half an hour after. So I think a few of them did. Really cool, really fun opportunity. One young lady, she drew me a beautiful picture. It's on my Twitter. Unbelievable talent to do that in 15 minutes or whatever it was. Incredible. It's really great meeting all of you. Shout out to my sister, who's a pretty good person and all that stuff too. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see you guys grow and become the leaders of this world. I have no doubt about it. You were all very cool. Okay, now on to the baseball. Mariners lose 2-0. They lose the first of the 3-game series against the Rangers. They fall to 29-28 on the year. There's one positive here. There's one. Luis Castillo was awesome. Sensational start. 7 innings of 1-run baseball, 6 strikeouts, but I think he was better than that. I mean, look, 7 innings of 1-run baseball was good, but you look at 6 strikeouts and maybe think he got some luck. No, he was excellent. Really, really impressive start. Just the one walk. This is now, I believe, 19 innings of 1-run baseball in his last 3 starts. He's going to be just fine. Congratulations to Mike Ford on joining the roster. The fact that he's the designated hitter. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Look, Mike Ford kind of looked like a thing 7 years ago, and he crushed AAA this year. Something like a 1.0, definitely an OPS above 1, because the on-base percentage was in the 4 and the slugging was in the 6. You add those up, you have a really good OPS. On-base percentage plus slugging for the kids who are watching. Good stat. Flawed stat, but good stat. He's not no. No. Absolutely not. I'm fine with him being on the roster right now because Taylor Trammell is struggling, and if he's not playing every day, young kid, go play in AAA, go play in Tacoma. Do I think he's a better player than Mike Ford? Yeah. But if he's not going to be playing, see what Mike Ford can do. And look, this is his audition, right? Because the Mariners had to promote him or he was going to opt out and he'd probably get a deal somewhere. So you give him a sample of 7 games or something like that and see what he can do. I guess not a whole heck of a lot. But he does get a single today. I'm sure he feels awfully great, and he should. It's great to see him, for him personally, on the roster. I just don't think he's a big helper. This offense was terrible. I mean, again, we have to credit John Gray again. I know a bunch of you pushed back on this last time. Well, John Gray's been outstanding this year. He's 6-1. I know win-loss record. Kids, flawed stat. Very flawed stat. Bad stat. But he's kind of earned it. 7 innings of 2-hit baseball. He hasn't given up a run. Doesn't give up a run, excuse me. Strikes out 5, walks 1. He's good. He's a good pitcher. There's no excuse to get shut out as often as the Seattle Mariners have. And it's worth pointing out, if not for a zombie runner on second base, who knows when the Mariners score, if the Mariners even do score. I mean, golly. This is just not acceptable baseball right now from this offense. And you just kind of see how much pressure they're putting on right now and on Julio and Kelnick. Because when they don't get the job done, it's bad. You know, I spent a long time yesterday talking about Cal Raleigh and how good he is and how underrated he is. He is still. It's just one game. He was really bad today. Really bad behind the plate and really bad at the plate, which is disappointing to see from one of my favorite players to watch. I just looked up at the screen and Sarah Langs is talking, and it's worth pointing out that it's Lou Gehrig Day, and what a horrible disease and what a wonderful person she is. Yeah. Mentioned her a lot on this show because she's an unbelievably talented researcher above everything else. And no, that's not true. Unbelievable person above everything else. But I got to know her through her research, and she's just fantastic. She is absolutely fantastic, and I wish her nothing but the best. What a horrible disease. And here's hoping we all raise a lot of money for it so that it is something that goes away. Back to this game. Oh, Ty France and JP Crawford, too, were awful. Julio gets the one hit, strikes out a couple of times. Meh. Eugenio Suarez is now down to a 646 OPS, and we are over the 1/3 point of the year. Not good, folks. Teoscar Hernandez gets a hit, but pretty lethargic game. We got to start talking about Jose Caballero, too, because since that ridiculous good run he's had, he's been pretty terrible. Just get on through a hit by pitch, and then he gets picked off, and the base running today was so bad in the very few times that they did have a chance to score runs. I mean, come on. This is a bad start to this road trip. It goes without saying. It's obvious. Point is obvious. But you have Castillo shove 7 innings of 1-run baseball, and your offense can only manage 3 hits. It's not good enough. It's just not good enough. And there are players that aren't playing well, but you also just look at the bottom of this lineup and you wonder, how much better can these guys be? Particularly 8 and 9 right now. I'm sorry, Mike Ford is not the answer. We talked about it ad nauseum. Jose Caballero needs to be upgraded. He looks like an awesome utility guy. Don't want him starting games. Dylan Moore also. I mean, he's better than what you're getting, but not enough. Like, this isn't all of a sudden Dylan Moore gets back here, hopefully soon, and all of a sudden you're good. No, no. No, 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 no. Really good option against left-handed pitching. I don't think he's good enough to be a regular on a playoff team. And with that loss, your Seattle Mariners, your World Series hopeful Seattle Mariners, I believe are now 7.5 games back. It's not good. It is not good. And it's certainly not good enough. And to, I don't know if makes matters worse is the right word, but you've got another thing happening. Marco Gonzalez will not be starting on Saturday. It will be Brian Wu making his major league debut against Texas on Saturday. Now, Wu's been really good in the minors. One of their top pitching prospects. Maybe their best pitching prospects now that Bryce Miller is on the major league roster. Certainly one of them. Up there. You can argue Emerson Hancock. You can argue Taylor Dollard. I think Wu's probably the most ready to go in terms of being a starter of those guys. But a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. Now you've got Wu and Miller for these next 2 games, and they are, I don't care what you tell me, they are huge baseball games. You're talking about, if you lose these next 2 games, falling right around 10 games under, 10 games out of the playoffs. I'm sorry. That's not good. That is beyond not good. That should be an obvious point. It doesn't seem to be an obvious enough point to some people. Yeah, if you lose those next 2 games, you're talking about being 9.5 games back, virtually 10. Uh-oh. That's what I titled last video. It's crazy that they're still 6-4 in their last 10, even after losing 3 of 4, just because of how bad Oakland is. By the way, fun stat for you. Oakland lost their 47th game today, which means that they will not catch the 2001 Mariners and tie the record for best record of all time. Oakland lost their 47th game on June 2nd. The Mariners lost their 47th game on not happened. Just didn't happen. Unbelievable. And they're buoyed by a 2-game win streak against Atlanta, of all people. Wow. But yeah. Yeah, this is oh, look, you win the next 2, you get to 5.5 back. I think we're asking them to win the next 2 is asking an awful lot with 2 rookie right-handers, or it doesn't matter what hand they throw with, but 2 rookie pitchers, one of them making a major league debut, one of them who just got lit up in his last start. I have all the confidence in the world in Bryce Miller long term. I want to see how he responds, and I'm very curious to see how Wu does in his major league debut. Always fun to see major league debuts. I'd prefer them not to be happening at this moment, but we'll see. We shall see. And on the mound for the Texas Rangers, we have Andrew Heaney. A lot of good, a lot of bad. It's been Andrew Heaney's calling card. The only reason it hasn't been his complete calling card is because there's a lot of injured, unfortunately, mixed in there. But this is an interesting time. Interesting time to say the least. But main takeaway, Pioneer Elementary, 3rd grade. You guys rock. You guys and girls rock. That was so much fun today. Follow me on Twitter at Crawford_MILB. RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast, Sports Sometimes Podcast. I think some of you know that the Patreon went away. I just didn't have the time, and I was having massive tech issues with it, and I'm sorry. I'm hoping to bring it back maybe as a podcast someday. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But for now, it's just got to go. And I wasn't comfortable charging money to people when I'm not going to be. That's an obvious point again. A lot of obvious points tonight. But yeah, bummer of a loss, but I had a lot of fun today. Shout out Pioneer Elementary, Shelton. I don't know your mascot, but you guys are great.